Hey guys, it's Adam, CEO and founder of Sierra Pacific Group, and I am thrilled to actually be home after a long night of traveling from Boston. It was an adventure of a life to get back home. Flights got delayed, sitting on the tarmac in taxiways on both sides of both taking off and landing, and then having to go to a different airport and drive several hours home. But I am here. So PitchIT. It's been a bit since we've been here live on PitchIT, and I want to bring on my brother, Sean Lardo.
Yeah, we were in Boston together.
Yeah.
And I literally just left Boston this morning. I'm already at my house. I don't know. It wasn't really a bad trip for me at all. It was, it was really nice. I was in the Delta Sky Club this morning having breakfast, waiting for my flight that took off at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard, and here it is, 12
You
p.m.
enjoyed a long night. You watching some football.
I did.
Enjoyed the Channel Pro. Channel Pro is pretty cool event. A lot of people, a lot of
Yeah.
conversations around community and
Mhm.
relationships.
Yeah.
Big one was AI. A lot of interaction with AI. It was a short little thing that we did.
Yeah.
Really cool seeing kind of the different innovations, right? And talking about innovations, we're at like literally the close of PitchIT, right? And I was sick, and so
Yeah.
we did schedule this for Thread and B2B Toolbox. So it's rare that I do get sick, but when I do, it is an out.
Yeah, I remember you really looked bad. You looked really
Yeah,
bad.
I was like, yeah, I can't do this. I tried several calls before. It was not working.
Nope.
So
And honestly, Channel Pro, good show. Jay-Z and team did a really nice job. It's a good show because it's very intimate and you get a chance to actually talk to people. You get a chance to catch up with people and you have time. It's not, I mean, when obviously I love IT Nation Connect, but there's a drastic difference between the two conferences.
for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
sorry, I got up there a little too soon for you, but I was gonna invite people to the next show, and you should get registered because what's going on at this show, Sean? Top
well.
3.
Yeah. So everybody that's watching, November 8th is when IT Nation kicks off. Day one, pre-day start that day, right? They all happen.
Yeah.
But most importantly of that day is the championship for PitchIT, which will be the 3 finalists pitching live on stage at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. Now, nobody knows who the finalists are yet. They will be announced next week. There will be a press release coming out. Not sure what day. Any day between Tuesday and Thursday. That's what I was told. So that is happening next week, the 3 finalists. And you're then going to say, well, what is PitchIT? And I'm going to say, well, Adam, it's a great question. PitchIT is a Shark Tank-like competition where we're looking for, and this is ConnectWise's 5th year in the running, and doing this and hosting this and sponsoring this. And we're looking for exactly what you have on the bottom of the screen there. We're looking for, we decided we wanted to invest even more in partner growth. We wanted more innovations faster, and we wanted to make it easier to do business with. And Pitch has become the epitome of this because that's what these vendors are doing. So we're looking for the best of startup vendors, emerging technologies that are vendors that are able to do 2 things. One is complement the ecosystem and community of ConnectWise, but second, most importantly, is supporting the mission of the MSPs. Again, it's a competition. So we had 26 vendors that just went through 16 weeks of accelerated incubator program where they were doing sessions every week on workshops of mergers and acquisitions, sales and marketing, you name it, they do it. During the same time, they were doing live streams with you, live streams with Ray Rossini, recordings with Paco LeBron and Marvin B. I mean, so they did a lot of work for this over the course of 16 weeks. It all came down to the last couple of weeks of August, where they did live pitches and private pitches to determine of the 26 which 3 will move forward. And like I said, that 3 will be announced next week. Bang.
That's pretty awesome. That's a lot. It's been a crazy 3-4 months.
4 months, yeah.
Definitely. So talking about the innovation, we're here to actually bring on some of our contestants. So I'm gonna bring on Matt. Matt, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you guys?
Doing awesome. So Matt is from Thread, not the Thread you're thinking about, but Get Thread. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about Thread?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, taking a step back quickly, really excited to be participating in PitchIT. And actually, we were in my co-founder and I were in the audience at one of the first year or the second year for the live competition in November. And it was one of the reasons why we decided to found a startup, is that we were so kind of inspired and excited by the opportunity. So it's a bit of a full circle moment for us competing.
That's
awesome.
I'm glad, and most importantly, you're from Pittsburgh. I think that's the more important piece. Let's be honest.
That's right. That's the most important piece.
I feel like it is.
Yeah, it was like the hidden column in the requirements, right?
Yeah. Once I saw that, you were like, "You're accepted. You're in." Doesn't matter. You're like, "But we don't make anything." Yeah, but you're from
My
Pittsburgh.
LLC is registered now and to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, you're amazing. You're in. Congrats. Welcome.
All right. So yeah, I can talk a little bit about where we've been prior to Thread and where we are now. So we used to be known as ChatGenie. My business partner and I, co-founder, we came out of an MSP, or we started at an MSP. So I was more the operational half. He was more data and development services. And we were looking at the problem fundamentally, whereby how people consume service and the kind of back end for service were distinct and kind of broken apart. So we wanted to make sure to enable MSPs to provide service wherever their customers are: Slack, Teams, desktop, you name it.
I think that's impressive. I think it's impressive to. One of the biggest problems that I know that I've seen is that, especially as the evolution has occurred of multiple platforms and multiple communication pieces, is the ability to communicate easier. It was supposed to be easier, right? It was supposed to be more efficient, and then all of a sudden we have 10,000 places, and then what was efficient became disastrous in a way and became noisy because there was nowhere to be. It was everywhere. Like, even for me personally, I'm in Slack, and in Slack I'm in about 7 different channels in Slack, different groups. Teams, which we have internal and we have external guests in Teams, and I'm on Discord, and there's text, and there's email, and there's, I don't know, social media as well. Like, literally, that's so many different places. So I can see that being such a big value add for me personally. And I'm not even in tech. I'm not even in support, rather. I'm like not a support person. And so, I mean, I can imagine now adding on the layers of stuff you guys have done.
Yeah, and I think for us, it's like a lot of MSPs would chat with their customers and teams, like you said, externally. So they'd provide a really good experience, but they sacrificed process for the experience. So there was no ticket, there was no capturing of that correspondence where it should be, which in ConnectWise in the PSA.
Right. Yeah, that's an important piece. Is the automated piece of the ConnectWise communication as well? The lack of duplicate documentation, right?
Exactly. Yep. Meeting users where they are, but without sacrificing that process piece.
I feel like it's meeting users where they are, but also meeting management where it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Both sides of the service experience meeting.
Yeah, the integrity behind the of documentation and storing of records and data.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal for all of us. I mean, we all. I've been in sales, like I said, for a long time, and updating the CRM all the time was difficult. When you go through and when you're younger and you're new into the job and you're just literally pounding on the phone all day long, dialing for dollars. At the end of the day, you don't think of, like, the last thing you want to do is admin.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, yep.
Sean, I mean, I have to ask though. It sounds like you have an entire Teams channel for your family. I mean,
again, someplace I was not invited to from Keith. So again, just leaving me out. Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it. Another just rubbing the fact that I pretend I'm your father, but not really, and I will never accept you. So thank you.
Sorry, I had to, as soon as I saw that, it was great. Because anyway, Matt, it's been awesome. Let me bring in our other contestant, and just so we can get introduced to him. So give me 1 second here. Norm, how you doing?
Norm,
you here?
I'm really well, Adam. Sean, how are you guys?
Doing well. I mean, you're inside the house. I don't recognize you in the house.
I know I'm usually outside, and I'm sorry about that. It just it seems to be one of those days where the internet seems to be spotty. You know what it's like, and you're kind of moving all over the place. I got a channel here. I'm okay.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
He said he's sorry for being inside. It's okay, Norm. Don't let it happen again. All right. Don't let it happen again. So how are you doing? How's the foot?
It's improving, but it's a 2-month process, I'm told. So I'm off my bike and running for that time.
Oh, that's not fun. That's not fun at all. I'm sorry to hear that, but at least it's not the end of the world. 2 months, you'll be back in action.
Yeah.
I'll be ready for IT Nation.
Yep, that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be on a little scooter, maybe, or not. Ditch the scooter.
I might.
That's a lot of walking. It's a lot of walking. But tell us, Norm, what is B2B Toolbox? What do you guys do?
Well, we build e-commerce sites for MSPs. So really, if you think about what it's like in terms of transacting with customers, most MSPs, very few that we've seen have any e-commerce enablement for customers. Their customers typically need to buy things, the everyday products that they have, and they look to the MSP to advise them. What's the right software, what's the right laptop hardware, peripherals, and yet the mechanism to actually transact isn't very good. So the B2B Toolbox enables those MSPs to really give customers Amazon-like experience in the purchasing cycle.
I like that. So you're curating the experience, and you're giving prescriptive things to purchase also through that. So giving that Amazon experience. So that's I think that's important because, well, okay. So let me ask a question then on that too. So when you're doing this, where is the information coming from that's in the e-commerce store for the MSP? Like, what do they have to provide?
Great question. So typically the distributors that an MSP deals with, let's say Tech Data, Synex, or Ingram, they have availability every day into getting product feeds of, what, if I'm an MSP, what hardware and software am I authorized for? Which SKUs do I wish to sell, et cetera? And, what products are in stock and what is my cost on those? The B2B Toolbox pulls that information in. We mix it in with rich product data, such as images and spec sheets and specifications, and we put it online. The MSP themselves, they can decide, which vendors do they want. If you're a Dell shop, but you don't like to sell HP or Acer or something else like that, those won't show up in your shop. The MSP decides, what price points that each customer is going to be able to buy for. So when the customer goes online and they log in, they're going to see all the products that the MSP wants them to be able to access. They can create standard quotes for products. So think of it this way. One of the customers of an MSP has a new employee starting. So what do? They're able to just go online. There could be already a list of 7 or 8 products that we want those new customers to have. They just click a button, add those to the cart, and that information gets sent off to the MSP. So there's, it's an immediate transaction, and it's custom made for for the MSP market. It's not, they don't have to worry about their customers, employees buying T-shirts and balloons or anything like that. It's just specific products that they're authorized to buy and sell.
I love that. I think it's important. I think I focused on sales enablement for the longest time, and a big part of that was trying to curate what to present, what to provide, how to distribute, how to take your pick, procure it. So that's a big deal. So now when they do the e-commerce shopping, and I know we got to bring Mike back on soon here, so I'll make it quick. So when somebody purchases, is that being registered somewhere into the system for the MSP?
Yep. So all of that information, and by the way, the MSP can decide a customer needs to buy with a credit card, in which case the money in the transaction is immediately done via Stripe or whatever payment gateway they have, or they can let the customer buy on a purchase order, and they bill on a monthly or weekly basis, whatever that is. All of that information is transferred via and how the MSP wants to receive that, either via an API or a JSON. That information is available to them to put into their directly into their accounting system, whatever system they use to order from, let's say, the distributor that they're buying those products from.
Nice. Okay, that's real cool. All right, I'm shutting up now, Adam.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. So I'm gonna bring Matt back in. Matt, there you are. Let's get rid of these banners here. Sorry, it's been a bit since we've been live, Sean.
I know. I mean, you're not me, but you. Yes, you've been slacking. I've been active. So anyway, so go ahead. I'll let you start.
Yeah. So let's start off with this, because Matt, you said that you were watching IT Nation Connect live doing the pitch and kind of had this vision of what the program was all about. I'm just curious what your experience is like been from where you started at with where you've now been through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, being like, as relates to PitchIT in general, it's been an awesome experience. The weekly coaching sessions with experts in various facets of what it is that we're thinking about and dealing with every day. It could be marketing, could be social media, it could be thinking through operational maturity levels as we codify our ideal customer profile. I've found it to be super instructive and definitely a great asset for us. I think Sean also, from a clarity of messaging and being concise with our value proposition and how we talk about really like how our partners benefit from the product. It's all been super helpful.
Awesome. See, it worked. Adam.
It did work. Noah, what about you? Like, how did you hear about PitchIT and how did you get into, what you're thinking about getting into the program, and then kind of what's the result now you've kind of gotten out of it?
So we started back in, on the actually managed print services side of the space. Okay. We used to be a product called MPSToolbox. The thing that really has struck me is really how seriously ConnectWise takes its responsibility inside this channel. And in the industry that I came from, there is not, a 900-pound gorilla, let's say, that cares about the ecosystem the same way that ConnectWise does. And everybody says, "Oh, I care about it." Sure, but the way they care about it through nurturing new vendors like ourselves or Threads into the environment, helping us understand, hey, if you want to be successful in the MSP space, you need to do X, Y, Z. Here's the way an MSP looks at the market. So we are a much stronger company having come through this experience, no matter what the result is. Although Sean knows we know what the result is. So we still want to win.
but I appreciate what you said on the end there too, as far as like, yeah, when we recreated the program, it was important. It was important that you guys all were able to get something regardless. Everybody, not to sound cheesy, but everybody's a winner, right? But the fact of the matter is, if we can get you to a point that you're an optimal level of growing and scaling, honestly, the competition is great and all to win, but we've seen people that were in the competition last year that have surpassed what we could have done as a competition this year.
For sure, and they even sold.
Yeah, some have been. I mean, we had 3 companies from last year get acquired. So and only one was a finalist. So what's that tell you?
Sure.
So we're talking like serious money. We're talking about serious success and great successful exits.
Awesome. So I'm gonna go, Matt, to you. So out of everything, there's got to be one thing that basically said the light bulb turned on during the PitchIT. What's the one thing you took away from this year PitchIT?
Yeah, I mean, I think I touched on it, right? We talk about, or originally, like, it's a big concept, service experience, and delivering service where users are, and kind of why that's important. We found ourselves really talking about features and getting really technical into the weeds early on, and a lot of why it was important and what the value was got lost in that. And so really just being very clear, talking about benefits, and not features was a major takeaway for us.
That's huge because being an engineer space, we all can just go down that path. I got this feature, that feature, and then you compare tool sets. Oh, I got this feature and that feature. It's natural for that stuff to happen, right? But at the end of the day, as a business owner, I'm looking to solve particular problems. I'm looking at the solution set as a whole, right? And so you're refining the pitch, Sean. See, it's working right here.
That's that. It's important. So I was just jotting this down because you said engineers. The majority of the business owners are engineers or MSPs, and that's in every business that it is for the most part, right? It's somebody that figured out something needs to be solved, figure out how to solve it, and the problem is they don't know how to articulate it. And you do get in the weeds. It's your baby. It's your baby. And you want to talk about everything. Like in 3rd grade, my baby went to school and got an A and then won the spelling bee. And this is how they won the work. The spelling bee was this. And, so again, same rules apply for a business. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
And especially with, we're doing a lot with Azure OpenAI service, and it's an emerging kind of feature set that a lot of people are talking about. And, folks get really excited about it, and that value piece gets lost in translation.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Norm, so a quick question for you. The journey that you came about from this, how did you find out about PitchIT?
We had somebody in our space that had talked about wanting to go on PitchIT, but I think they may not have made the cut last year in terms of what their offering was. So they were more into the space. They were somebody that we integrated with. And so it was us then researching it. So it's been a plan for us for a long time to understand that we wanted to most people that are, let's say, in the office print industry, their offerings are migrating towards the MSP space anyway. Mm-hmm. So they were kind of pulling us there. Let's face it, you can kind of joke, how many documents did you print this week, Adam? Or Sean, very little, right? So if your, future is predicated on people making hard copy, it's, you're going to have skinny kids. So you're going to need to really work hard and get out into a different market. And that's why we, moved into the MSP space. And this has really been, it's been a blessing. Think about it, that it was like a crash course and say, okay, so you want to get into this space? Let's talk about it. And that's where it came from.
Nice.
I love that. And yes, to validate your point, I had a woman that sent me an email with a PDF. She says, "Can you print this and fill it out and send it back?" I said, "No, send me a digital copy." So she went and she's like, "I'm sorry, here's the digital copy." I'm like, "Thank you." I don't even know where my printer is anymore in my house.
I had like epiphany here while you were talking, because it's all when you're talking about print industry, because I've helped quite a few companies grow out of their print to transition to MSP, and it's all kind of cost per print, right? You charge per page. Why not do cost per scan? Just throwing it out there, because I get mail and it's like, oh, I gotta scan it. I have to scan everything all day long now. Rather than print things, I'm scanning things because I don't want paper.
Well, it's really interesting, if they say, if you're a hammer, everything's a nail, right? And if you sell office printing and a customer comes to you with a solution, with a problem, you're going to try to solve it with a printer. Less and less opportunity for that to happen now. But in the MSP space, what I've really found, refreshing is just the curiosity of the entire group. Like if you're a managed service provider, the reality is what you did, 5 years ago is not what you do today. And so you need to always be, understanding what's new, what's happening. So if you say, hey, this is what I do, this is my technology, like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about it. So I really, liked that part of this space, to kind of always be curious and always look for new things, because they know that's what they're going to be doing.
That was a very good bow on just my complete tangent. Nice. Sean, sorry, I know you had a follow-up question.
No. I guess it's a follow-up question because it applies to both of you guys. It seems like there's a couple of things that you guys there's two industries you guys actually focus on that you guys don't associate yourself with, which is the ability for enablement between sales and tech and support enablement in general, right? And the other is you both actually are in communications. Now, Matt, obviously yours is a definite. You're in communication. We know that. But
Yep.
Norm is in communication because that, purchase and acquisition and be able to go shopping is a communication piece, regardless. So now I'm wondering if you guys shouldn't be talking at some point about when somebody goes into the cart to go buy something, doesn't know something, they go into the chat and they should have your product to do the chat. And you guys, I'm just putting out there.
Yeah. Or
Look,
presenting a quote right in Teams, approving.
Well,
it.
I actually think there is something. All our products are, all the websites are built on Shopify as a platform. So there's some integration into chat and stuff. But you're absolutely right. Like the next iteration of AI, chatbots, e-commerce, and let's think about the website as a digital watering hole for, if an MSP has a website, why are customers going there, if at all? What use do they have for it? So integrating some function of chat, and also if it's a place that you just go to put a ticket in because you're angry because something doesn't work, that's not a very happy place to go, right? But yeah, somebody could ask like, hey, what are you here for today? Oh, I'm looking for a laptop. Oh, great. Do you have a preference for it? Do you have, this information? And that experience can be done via chatbot. So it's a good pickup, Sean. Matt and I should probably be, talking a lot more because there's, 1 + 1 is 3 here.
Yep. See, you're welcome. I bring couples together. You're welcome. I'm like the dating man.
He might be my type.
You bring businesses together.
It's couples. They're not couples. You can be a couple of businesses together.
Yeah.
Adam.
Okay. Fair enough. So Matt, let me talk about kind of the future a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
What is the next big milestone for Thread?
So in terms of growth, we're just about to cross that kind of million in ARR threshold, which is exciting. We've been going for that a little bit, and we've grown several X in the last 12 in this year alone. So pretty excited about that. And then from a feature standpoint, we just released auto prioritization of requests. So first AI feature was automating the time entry, which I know we've talked about quite a bit historically, Adam, from the Sierra Pacific and RFA days. But auto prioritization, so a request comes in, how important is it? Doesn't need to be escalated right away, stuff like that. And then next is categorizing those requests automatically via AI. So really, really reducing the amount of friction inherent in opening a service request before you get to the right person.
Yeah, let me ask a layered question here, and then I'll ask the same question of Norm. When you're doing the AI stuff, when you deal with priority, let me ask this question. It's probably another tangent, but are you using sentiment to actually say, hey, are they angry? And is this a higher priority because they're making it angry?
So that's next. That's right after categories. Yep.
This is really cool. I mean, the whole AI space is it's incredible how tools are being used, and it's incredible. So
it's not going away. It's going to get better.
But eventually, you're going to have, the typical MSPs, not typical, the small percentage that are like, oh, I know how to game the system. I'm going to act angry every time on a response, right?
Yeah. I mean, what's exciting for us is really, we kind of get to be an unlock for a lot of MSPs who have started thinking about, how they might use AI in their business. And, we have the benefit of kind of being there already and building a team around it. And so we're working closely with partners to do, not to game the system, but prevent gaming the system, things like that.
Yeah, so there's actually there's some good questions here. Since I'm chatting with you, Matt, I'm going to actually share this question here. Automation bringing expectation of lower prices, but how do you keep high profits, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
White glove, right? When you offload. So you want to touch base on that? And
sure
Norm
thing.
as well? Yeah.
So for us, it's really it's about you're delivering a better, like a higher fidelity experience because you are where the users are. It's your branding, their branding. It feels like more of a premium service as opposed to you're just chatting with a chatbot. Humans will always be in the loop. We're simply removing that friction, like I said. So they'll get better service, more reliably, faster, and actually because you have that kind of watering hole, as Norm put it previously, inside their tenant, where they are all the time, you feel part of their operations, but also they know exactly where to go when they need help at any time.
Nice. Looking at your next big milestone, what do you think of this statement here, right? The expectation of lower prices when it deals with AI.
We don't see it. I think there's always been an impression from MSPs, that just selling technology online, like naked, let's say like a laptop or something else, there's no margin. Our experience is there's quite a bit of margin. On average, it's like 30%. There's a perception that Amazon is cheap, right? It's not really. If I compare the prices of what Amazon products are versus what I know our customers are paying for them, there's quite a margin opportunity. In respect to the AI, and I even think it's actually, MSPs get to make more money and a premium versus something like Amazon, because they're actually directing the customer to the right product. If you go online to a massive website and you're a customer and you're charged with buying a laptop, which one are you going to buy? An expensive one, a cheap one, one that isn't supported with all the things that you want. So customers are willing to pay a premium for that. And so I think it's an easy statement to say there's no margin in hardware. I just think the information, the statistics don't bear that out. The second thing I would say, because you were asking about milestone, I could dovetail into that. I'll ask a simple question. How much did you pay for your last iPhone, Adam? Like, how much was the actual iPhone did it cost, if you own one?
I think it was like $1,200 or $1,100.
Most people don't buy it like that, right? Like, most people buy it as a part of service, as a contract of something that they pay on a monthly basis.
Yeah, for sure.
And so our large milestone is we're enabling those products to be bought like a service. So why, to a business where cash flow is important, and particularly to a small business, why aren't they buying, that setup for a customer for $199 a month that includes the hardware, includes all of that sort of stuff, and include, so you sign up that on a contract right away. That's, from a functional standpoint, where we're kind of moving this. And I think where MSPs will have a distinct advantage over their counterparts at the likes of Amazon, that just are really transactional product by this.
Interesting. Okay, so you're right now primarily a storefront for MSPs, right? And so you are shifting it to be a storefront for MSPs, but also have that SaaS component to it. That's the hardware as a service, not SaaS. Sorry, hardware as a service, right?
Yeah, but SaaS as well. Like, why can't you include your Microsoft subscriptions, your Teams subscriptions, your all of those things, in a package that you buy online?
Yeah. Okay. Sean, you're off there.
I was gonna say I would agree. I like when you're asking about hardware, software and whatnot. Now, question is we'll go to hardware first. During COVID, post-COVID, there were shortages on hardware. So is that going to be addressed through will it automatically shut off on your store if an item is missing?
Yeah, so we're getting daily feeds from your distributors. So every day, if you just look at one category like laptops, there's probably 10,000 items in that category, right? On any given day, another 150 appear, another 200 go offline because there's no availability of them, and another 100 or so, the prices change. So it's very dynamic, and our system does that all automatically. There's no realistic way that a person could do that looking at it, or else they, how would they do it? So yeah, availability is a very important thing, and that's in inventory and prices. That's what we keep up to date daily.
Okay, cool. That's because that's a big concern. I'm glad you answered that one. Now, on the other side, for as far as software, hardware, the other question I have on that is when they purchase, it's being reported back. For those that do QBRs, is it going to be registered? Will they know? Will it plug into an account? Can they pull it that way to know that they purchased the most recent version of a software or whatnot?
Yeah, so I'd have to think about it a little bit more, Sean, but ultimately, if you do a QBR and you say to the customer, here are some of the older products that you have that need to be replaced, or whatever that sort of replacement mechanism is. All of those can be then transferred and put into what we would call a quote online. So that's where the customer would activate it. And then they know their customer, so that maybe it's, hey, as these devices get old or can't be updated, we're going to replace them on a user by user basis, or we're going to do a rollout for another, for a tranche of 150 of these devices or something like that. So all of that can be, taken from the system and then put online and actioned. Again, important part is workflow, right? Like, as opposed to, when you leave the QBR meeting, what happens? Do you say, I'm going to send you an email, and then you're going to look at it and see if this is okay and approve it and email it back? Or maybe I'll say, I don't like that.
Sure.
This is all like, hey, I just did the QBR. All the devices that I talked about are online right now. So, while we're in the meeting, if you want to go and action that, you can do it right now. And we've had customers that have success with that approach.
Okay. All right. I'm shutting up, Adam.
Everybody's traveled. Like, they're kind of, Sean and I are a little quiet. So a lot of traveling.
No, you're doing well. I'm letting you spread your wings.
It's spread, fly, my son.
Fly away.
Yeah. So Matt, you talked a little bit about kind of your traction this year and kind of the growth and so forth you've had, and sounds like the rebranding. I love the idea of the death to the ticket. Your phrase there. It's kind of cool. I mean, you want to talk a little bit about that, how that kind of came about, and the kind of behind the scenes, what that looks like?
Yeah. I mean, our big belief is that tickets are no way to treat people. What we mean by that is, the last thing, when you have an issue at work, the last thing you want to have to do is pick up the phone and maybe get somebody sit on the phone forever, or fire off an email and again, wait 48 hours for a response. And so really, we felt like it was taking real human problems and turning it into just another number. So the idea for us is, you don't even really need to know that the ticket's in the background. It's of course essential for billing and audit trail purposes, understanding what happened on a request. But as far as the user's concerned, and really for the most part, as far as the tech is concerned, all of that's happening in the background as you progress the request.
Very nice. I mean, nobody wants to be classified as a ticket number or, right, a number in a line, right? I just like that. Sorry.
Well, we're talking a couple of different things here, though. From Matt's perspective, is one is the automation of the ticket creation that happens in the back end if they do this, right, which is really nice. It takes you away from duplicate work again on that case. The other part is there's a difference between email correspondence and chat correspondence. Email correspondence has to be a little more formal. It's more letter writing. It takes a little more time to do that. Whereas just like you and texting alone, think about that. You're able to have a whole conversation on a shopping list in 5 minutes on a text, as opposed to if somebody wrote out a letter to you, you're waiting for the snail mail to get to you with that list, right? It's the same concept. So you're literally able to troubleshoot on the fly through instant messaging, which is a big deal. It changes the conversation. It changes the expectation of the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, it's ordered in time, a little less formal, as you said, but you stay integrated the whole time. So you can engage your RMM, you can pull in documentation for yourself into the thread. User doesn't see it, but really, again, we're accelerating service.
Cool. So, Norm, let me ask you a little bit. So I'm just poking around in your website here, and it looks like you guys do not only just kind of the e-commerce store, it looks like digital marketing as well. Is that right?
Yeah, it's sort of what dovetails in after you have an e-commerce website and you're really trying to create a digital watering hole. Like when we talk to customers and they might have a specific offering or an approach that they want to get new customers because they have a nice package for them. How do you promote that? And since we do all the work with the website in the first place, we understand, all the SEO components that are important, all the social media and promotion pieces with it. So that's what sort of comes automatically within that. And we plan out with the customers, what are your goals? Because from a business standpoint, we want to leverage the e-commerce store to help you get more revenue from existing customers. by that we mean, do you want to add that line of business where you're selling more hardware and more software products and you're not relying on the customer to buy somewhere else? Well, then let's target the existing customers. If it's customers, how do we want to set up that information? How do we want to do, whether it's email marketing or social media? So we layer a package once we finish it. So it's a good position, it's a good piece. We think it's a bit like, music and lyrics. They kind of work really well together. If you're an Elton John fan and Bernie Taupin, both of those guys are amazing together. It's incredible, right? That's how we look at marketing and the e-commerce website.
Interesting. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. So that was interesting knowing that, because you build the store, but then you help market the store, which is pretty powerful.
Well, is it kind of like the abandoned shopping cart concept? I mean, that's what they, abandoned shopping carts back. That's where that came from. That was a retargeted marketing kind of concept, when people will go in and then just leave their stuff in there and not buy. And then you would get messages from that place, like, hey, emails, based off whatever communication it was, saying, hey, I saw you left this in here. Check this out. There's additional 10% off if you buy now. They've been doing that for years. So I'm not saying that's just the only extent of what you're doing, but that's that's how I see that as being a powerful tool, is just like that alone. Not only
that, Sean, because it's important to do that. But if you think about, when, we have over 100 MSPs that we do business with, right, that we're building e-commerce sites for. Well, we understand what works from a marketing standpoint when it comes to technology and e-commerce and what doesn't. So and generally speaking, most of the MSPs are fairly regionally focused. So, what I learned from an MSP in Pittsburgh, what works for SEO, what types of things they should talk about in their email marketing, I can transplant that more or less to the person in San Antonio and say, here's best practices when it comes to these particular areas. And it's not like I'm obviously not copying and pasting it, but if they want to do, if they want to talk about a particular topic, guess what? AI is important right now. People are picking up on that. But what elements of that do we want to talk about? As opposed to, hey, maybe security doesn't say it's run its course, but what parts of that do we want to write a blog about? That's going to get more traction with customers and prospects.
Nice. Okay, that's cool. I love that. Anything else you want to add to that, Adam, or questions you have for these guys?
No, I mean, I'm just thrilled here to understand, Thread with the whole death to ticket, right? The client experience there. Right. And then Norm, your company, B2B Toolbox, right? The experience for MSPs to provide their clients, right? It's all about the client experience at the end of the day that you're giving. You're seamlessly kind of connecting those dots for the end users and MSP businesses enhancing. And these are all plug-in tools into the PitchIT, right? Into the ConnectWise ecosystem. And so these things are really, really huge. And I think that one thing that both you guys solve that's consistent is the experience that you're giving and providing clients. And that is huge. And so I think that that's where the marketplace is going. I think that's where this whole AI stuff, we're elevating the game of engineers, consultants across the board. Everybody is being elevated by using this particular tool. And so I've said this even on stage yesterday at Channel Pro, AI is not going to replace jobs at all. AI is going to replace people who don't know how to use AI, right? So it's the engineers that know how to use and leverage the tool. I'm going to hire those over engineers who do not know how, right, to use AI. And that is really, really big, because I know that they can use that tool to augment and learn from that, right? I don't just look at the responses and blindly copy and paste. You learn from those responses. Oh, that was a better way to craft an email. Oh, that was a better way to, say what I'm looking to do, right? And it's really awesome, the client experience. So, kudos to both you guys. That's really cool. Congratulations making it through this program, because that was a crazy 16 weeks. I mean, it's a lot of learning to take a company, an idea of what you wanted to go through, right? And then now you're at the end, and now you're at the finals, and it's like, hey, well, it's all towards that live pitch.
Just to dovetail into that, like I was kind of thinking when we were building our presentation, like if I had have said, okay, pitch is on week 1, what would my presentation look like? versus it's week 16. What do I want to, how am I condensing this? It's night and day. Wouldn't have looked anything the same. And that's a testament to what you learned in that process.
Awesome. Well, that actually, when we were in Boston, actually, I got a really good hat from one of your competitors. Just want to point that out. Like Monger, like really, though he gave me a white one too. It's dope. Anyway, but we were talking to him there, and what the idea came to me is like next year for people to apply, maybe I should ask for them to do a video recording of their presentation to be submitted with their application, right? And then look at it at the end and see the difference because I think you'll find one thing I noticed, because again, I'm looking at you guys from beginning to end. I remember, not that I might pay attention to everything, but the way you guys speak, you're more articulate, you're cleaner. The way you guys talk about your products is very more concise and more value add, less feature heavy, So I think like if I took all that, I think it would be fun to watch too. And it'd be probably be fun to watch after the 16 weeks, after the finalists are picked, if we all got together in a room and watched each other, like seriously, it might, like, cause you can see the work you've done. You can look how much better you are. And you're like, oh God, it'd be fun to watch like that highlight reel, like you're watching.
Would be.
Yeah.
I think
it'd be like Saturday Night Live bloopers, right? Like when, when they do the casting, when they first go on and then they,
oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see the progression of Bobby from what he looked like to closer to Sean throughout.
He had hair. I saw his picture of his weight, and I was like, who is this guy? And this guy had hair.
Yep.
So
Use that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? So there you go.
Yeah. Sean, that needs to happen. Need to record a video for next year's applicants, and then the 3 finalists, after they're done pitching, they have to play that video live on the stage, and then you can see the improvement and be like, hey, which one's most improved? That would be
that'd be pretty awesome in general. Like New Year, like their high school yearbook.
Yeah, exactly, high school yearbook for sure.
All right, so I know we gotta get wrapping up. I know this, Adam. So I'm gonna help you with that. Adam looks at time and gets nervous. In case you guys don't know, like literally, he starts getting anxiety before the end of anything because he's like, it has to be on time, which is great. But yeah, so so in closing, I want some final last words, since this is our last live stream of the official regular season of PitchIT. So Norm, since you came on second, I'll let you go first. Any last words? Our Father who art in heaven.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like God bless. I think it was somebody who was always trying to. Sorry, no. I guess in closing of the base of the PitchIT program, I think anybody that everybody should go through it that's in the industry at various stages. And especially if you think that you have nothing to learn, that's the time you need to go and learn and get perspectives from other people. And I'm so looking forward to IT Nation. It's a little conversation with people about, a pitch in 5 minutes, but I'm really looking forward to engaging with people and really understanding more about, what is it that's driving MSP businesses forward and what's driving them crazy. And can we help out with any of those, in any of those avenues?
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I appreciate that. I like the humility. The humility aspect behind it. You got to be a perpetual student. That's for sure. Matt, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, very similar sentiments, right? We came from an MSP, which is a similar story to a lot of folks in the space, but we love MSPs. We've been in the seat. We understand challenges, and I think we're building from that viewpoint. But of course, the industry always changes, and I think that's something that when we go to shows, when we're on demos, we're talking to current partners, prospective partners. We're in it for the right reasons. We want to help them differentiate and provide a better level of service and service experience. And I think we're onto something. So getthread.com. If you haven't checked us out, please do. And big thank you to the team at ConnectWise and all the PitchIT judges and participants, because it's been a really great experience.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's been great having you guys, honestly, in it. I think Adam knows this. Actually, I won't say anything yet. Adam, last words from you, because I'm closing this out today.
I love this reverse thing. It's different show. It's getting reversed. This year has been awesome. Seeing the number of contestants kind of go through this program and seeing this is the first year I've seen like a lot of AI intertwined, right, with a lot of products here, and it's really cool because I'm always about the client experience and trying to elevate the rising tides raises all boats, right? And I just love seeing how that's occurring in our industry. The advent of all these various different tool sets is amazing. I think that if you do have a tool, if you have an idea, you've built a little bit of a business out of it and need some help growing it, need some help maturing it, and really understanding how best to sell it, pitch it, get investors, what the messaging is. PitchIT is the program for you. So I'm excited to see IT Nation Connect, the contestants. I'll be up there, man on the clock.
You are the clock man.
You're
the Flavor Flay of PitchIT.
Oh, I'm gonna dress it up too.
Giant clock. So all right, I will wrap this up. Yes, I wanted to say that, from last year to this year, we looked at it wasn't night and day, because last year was great too, but it was like it was more active this year. It was more, there was improvements. We were able to get more accomplished, which was really nice, and with a bigger class. Going from 18 to 26, that's a big difference. It's a lot more, especially, and it's kudos to our team over here on this side to be able to support this, right? Because it's Andrea and Louie and Ashley and me, and then Jessica from social media, and everybody kind of dug in, and I appreciate it. But most importantly, you guys dug in and you guys helped us to, create more awareness for the program, which, that favors everybody, because the more successful the program, the more successful you guys are. So I really appreciate that. And you guys, I do wish we would have recorded presentations early on, because I know it would have been so much fun. We should require you to keep your outtakes in it too. Like, if you're gonna fly, you have to record from scratch, one and done. Leave the issues on there too. If there's no mistakes, you're not in. You're lying.
Perfect.
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Norm. This has been awesome. It's been a great year, and we'll see next week. When are we broadcasting, or when are you broadcasting? Are you even broadcasting live the finalists, who they are?
No. We'll bring them on once we announce. Yes, we'll bring them on here. Yes, but not next week. It'll be in a couple weeks.
We're crafting a plan to be determined.
We will definitely be putting the finalists out there, and we'll also revisit all the ones that aren't finalists too, because when you guys go to IT Nation Connect, I want everybody to know who you are. I want them to come find you guys. MSPs are always looking for emerging technologies for stack alignment, so it's stupid not to. So regardless whether you're a finalist or not, we're all here to contribute to the success of the total. So this is how this works. We all succeed together, period.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you, Sean. Mic drop. Let's end this. Peace out, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week and weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Bye all.
Again, guys.